Okay, the next section that we're going to be covering is surface area. Okay, and all that surface area is it says the sum of the areas of all the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure. So if you have a rectangular prism, surface area is how much the area is of all of the shapes, all of the rectangles that go around it. So there is formulas for it, but we're not going to learn those until we get into 8th grade. So the only thing we're going to do is think about this rectangular prism right here. So if you folded this up, it would look like a Kleenex box. It would be your rectangular prism. This side would fold up, this side would fold up, this side would come over the top, and then these two ends would fold up, and that would make your prism. So the way we're going to look at this to find surface area is area, remember, has to be of a two-dimensional figure, so it has to be flat. So this would be a rectangle. All of these would be rectangles. These would be squares. And we're just going to find the area of each of these rectangles and squares and then add them all up. Okay, so instead of having just the area of one rectangle like we have done before in the past, we're going to find the area of all of them and just put them together. So that's all surface area means. It is the sum of the sum of the areas of all the surfaces of a three-dimensional figure. Okay, now we're going to see two types of surface area. One of them is total surface area, which means every single side, all of the sides of the prism or pyramid, whatever we're talking about. Lateral means side. Okay, think about in football, if you have a lateral pass, that means it's out to the side. So a lateral surface area is the sum of the sides of the figures. So when you're finding lateral, you are not going to include the bases. Okay, lateral means side. So in 7th grade, you will use two-dimensional nets to find the surface area of the three-dimensional shapes. Okay, so on this one, we're going to find both the lateral and the total surface area. Now, on a rectangular prism, remember we've talked about that it really doesn't matter what you use as the bases. Okay, because the bases are always the two sides that are parallel. So on this one, these two would be parallel if you folded it up, or these two would be parallel, and these two would be parallel. So it really doesn't matter which ones we use as the bases. Let's go ahead and say, because if we folded it up, this one would be on the bottom. So let's go ahead and say this is a base, and then think about it. If you flipped it over, the one that would be opposite of it, that would be parallel, would have to be this one right here. So we're going to name these two as our bases. Okay, so here's a base and here's a base. Okay, to find our lateral surface area, we're just going to do the sides. So I'm going to ignore these two bases right now. So area of a rectangle, all of these are rectangles, so that would be base times height, or length times width. Okay, this is 10 because all of these would have to be 10. They would all have to be the same length. And if this is 4 and this one's 4, think about it. If you folded this up, this end would match right here. So that has to be 4 also. So this is 10 by 4. So the area of this one is 40. This one has to match it, so this one would be 40. This rectangle over here is a square, so that would be 4 by 4, so that's 16. And this one is 16. So the lateral surface area would be those 4. So we would have 40 plus 40 plus 16 plus 16. So 80, 90, 100, and 12. Is that right? 40, 40, 16, and 16. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 112. And its area, so it's centimeters squared. Remember, area is squared. Volume would be cubed. Okay, now to find the total, I don't need to add everything. I've already added these 4. So the lateral surface area was 112. And then I just need to add these two bases. And this is a 4 by 10, so it's 40. And this one would be 40. So I'm just going to add 80 to what I already have. So that would be 192 centimeters squared. Okay, let's look at the back one. Find the lateral and the total surface area of the cube. So again, on a cube, it's not going to matter which ones we say are the bases. So I'm going to say this one because it would be on the bottom. And then these all would fold up, and this one would come over on the top, this one right here. So this would also be a base. Okay, if it's a square, that means it's 3 by 3. So those are all 9. So those are the sides. So we would have 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, which would be 36 inches squared. So then to find the total, I'm going to have the lateral plus I'm going to add these two. So plus the 18. So 54 inches squared. Okay, this one is a triangular prism, so your triangles are going to be your bases. Okay, so here's a base, here's a base. So to find the lateral, I'm going to do these 3 rectangles. Okay, let's think about this. This one would be 5 times 7, so that's 35. This one, it tells me it's 3 here, and I know that this has to match this side. So that would be 3 times 7, so that would be 21. This one is 7 and 4, so 7 times 4 would be 28. So the lateral would be the 28 plus the 21 plus the 35. So 84 centimeters squared. Okay, to find the total, I'm going to take the 84, and then I need to add these 2 triangles. Okay, remember, area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Don't just multiply the 4 times the 3. Okay, it's half of that. So 1/2 of 4 times 3. Half of 4 is 2 times 3 is 6. So each of these bases is 6. So I need to add both of them. So that would be 96 centimeters squared.